You no longer have to prove yourself to people that don't see your value. God is telling someone today that your days of proving yourself is over. It's truly over. You used to be the type of person that thought you need to fit in with everybody and try to make people love you, like you, and you just never quite fit in with anywhere you went. Truth of the matter is you're the light. You're the light. So you wasn't going to fit in dark places, in places where people are doing wicked, evil things. If they're not being wicked and evil, they're full of drama. They're full of ignorance. God said there's no more of you proving yourself to anyone. When you tried to prove yourself, you made yourself look worse trying to fit in where you didn't belong. You did not belong around them people. You did not belong around your toxic family. You did not belong around those player-hating peers that you grew up with. You did not belong on that job where they wouldn't even allow you to have days off, but they wanted you to work for cheap labor. But they wanted you to prove yourself to work for their company. They wanted you to prove yourself to keep making that $25 an hour while you were busting your behind for 10 to 15 hours in a day. God said no more proving yourself. Everybody that he removes you from, they have to prove themselves to you now. That's the beauty of it all. What goes around come around. God is placing you in a position of authority and power and leadership where you no longer have to prove yourself to people that want to be wicked. Because you are of the righteous and because you're on a straight and narrow path, God is saying now these people have to prove themselves to you because God is raising you up. He raised you up because of your righteousness. Because you're supposed to be above the wicked. Y'all ever heard the saying, good overcomes evil? Well, maybe God is saying that good will always be better than people that do evil. Maybe that's all what God is saying to people. If you do righteousness, you will already be a leader. You will already be first in God's eyes. You already will be the head and not the tail because you're doing righteousness. Yeah, you thought it was something wrong with you the whole time because people made you feel like you were the black sheep. You were the bad person. You didn't belong in a group. You didn't belong in that friend group. You couldn't hang out with the in crowd, the popular crowd. You didn't fit in and you thought it was something wrong with you because they made you feel like it was something wrong with you because you were different from them. You were supposed to be different from them because God made you different. You were supposed to stand out. You wasn't meant to fit in. They were trying to put you in a box, but God said you were supposed to grow past that box that people want to put you in because you wasn't supposed to have any limits to begin with. You're free in the Lord. You're free. And because you're free, people don't understand that. They want to put their stipulations on you, put you in the mental box, make you feel like you were less than, that you wasn't worthy enough to be free. But you're free now. You're free to flourish. You're free to be all what God calls you to be because you're not overcome with bondage. See, these people are in bondage that do wrong things, that want to be popular, doing wicked things. They are in bondage, spiritual bondage, but they believe they're not because they're delusional. They're in bondage because they choose to do wrong. They don't want to do righteous, but yet they want the world to believe that they're better than everybody else. I'm sorry, but if you're doing wicked things and evil things, and you're not coming with a good place in your heart to do things, then you're not blessed. You are in bondage. But you, on the other hand, you're blessed because you got right with God and you chose to do righteousness. You got tired of following the in crowd. You got tired of following people that want to do wrong things, because you realize you just don't fit in. And because you don't fit in, now you can stand out. You can shine like never before. You ain't got to go back around people that don't see your value, that refuse to see your value. Whatever their reason is, you don't need to worry about how people feel about you, God is saying. Let people accuse you. Let people say what they want about you. Truth of the matter is, God is lifting you up, and you ain't got to look for the opinion of anyone when it comes to you and your life. You don't have to look for other people for self-love. You don't have to look for other people for self-hope. You don't have to look to other people for confidence, because God already placed those things inside of you already. You just needed to look within. When you looked within for love, self-confidence, you became a force, a power, a force to not be reckoned with. That's what you became. You no longer look for other people's approval for anything, because you know who you are. They might not know who you are. They might not ever acknowledge who you are as a person. They might always feel like they're better than you. But you shouldn't worry about that, because you still do stand out, whether they want to admit it or not. These people don't have to admit anything to you. All you needed to do was remove yourself from people like this. And because you've done that, now you're able to freely move and do what you want. I wouldn't worry about people that don't understand you as a person. You no longer have to prove yourself, God is saying, because you never had to, because you are always righteous. And if you wasn't, you got right with God. So that's all that matters. You don't need to prove yourself to your family. You don't need to prove yourself to that boss on your job. You don't need to prove yourself to anyone other than God. And now that you realize that, you're able to move forward in peace and righteousness and look for the blessed things out of life. You are no longer in bondage. God wanted me to tell somebody that right now. You are no longer in bondage because you got right with God. You're doing righteous things. So you're free to move forward. You're free to move on. You're free to teach other people the right way, because now you know the right way. You have put in work to get where you are today. You had a lot of spiritual work done. You had a lot of physical work done if you exercise, and you had a lot of mental work done. You healed. You became better. You grew. And your mind is much sharper. Your mind is wiser. You don't have to prove yourself to people through social media. You don't have to prove yourself to anybody. You've already proved yourself enough, and they still refuse to accept you. These individuals, whoever they are, they refuse to accept you. Now you don't need to be accepted. You don't need to be accepted. You just need to grow past them as people by you knowing who you are internally. That's it. That's all. That's the message I got for a royal one. If you reached it in this video, thank you for reaching it. Thank you for supporting this ministry. You guys are a blessing. If you recently donated to Cash App and Zelle, thank you all for the wonderful donations, as well as the super thanks donations. Thank you so much. We are heading into the Shabbat on tomorrow evening, if you do not know. into Saturday. I hope you guys have a wonderful time during the Shabbat. I hope you guys are in prayer and that you are looking to God for everything in life from this day forward. Because God truly does love his children. And until next time, keep shining, keep winning. Don't prove yourself to nobody no more. Bye-bye.